Well, we're now being joined by Kientei Zion of the Ondewari Health Education and Environmental Project, who has a deep knowledge of artisanal refining, having been once involved in the process. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, it's such a delight to have you right here in the studio. Watching that report and what happened in Ebwema, I wonder what's going on in your mind, but more importantly, why and how exactly did you get into oil bunkering? I mean, considering the fact that it's a highly dangerous process with highly inflammable extracts.
Well, thank you.
How did you get into it?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is Nigeria. We go into things that we feel we can earn our living. Being a graduate, no job, and you have a family, you have to fend for your family. And when you see an area where you feel you can earn your living and sustain your family, I don't see at that point in time, I don't see any reason for not going into it at that point in time. And I think we did very well at that point in time.
When you say you did very well, how do you mean? In terms of the lucrative nature of
the
business? How
is.
much were you, in terms of money, how much were you going home with every day? And how much of the oil were you actually, bunkering? Illegally, of course.
Okay, there is a difference between artisanal refining and bunkering.
Okay.
Yeah. We refine it artisanally. So we don't sell out the crude. We get the crude and we refine it and we sell out the refined product. And we are not selling the refined product to outside country, foreigners. We are selling it right here in Nigeria. And what we refined at that point in time was going over the entire Nigeria. Because at that point in time, here in Nigeria, we have the crude oil, but we cannot refine it, so we sell out the crude and we buy the refined product from outsiders. And now some persons were licensed to bring in this refined product. And they discovered that the cost of buying that refined product from outside and getting that same refined product from the creeks you get it cheaper. So I tell you, at that point in time, right now, there are so many vessels that are littering the coastlines, which were arrested by the military. They are not owned by the young men from the creeks. Right. These same vessels are the vessels that go outside to bring this refined crude. Now they go out from Lagos port, get to the creeks, get this refined product from the creeks, and bring it back to Lagos and pump it into the system.
So what you describe is not just the young men we see with buckets or containers scooping crude and refining it. You're saying this is bigger than the young men in the creeks that have lost their lives and others that were involved here.
Now,
how big a business is it?
They're sponsors? I mean, is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, great.
So what are you saying?
What I'm saying is that it's not just one person. It's not just 10 persons. A whole number of persons. We're doing it in communities. So the end product was enough to sustain Nigeria.
Yeah, but how are you sourcing the crude oil to refine in the first place? That's what we're interested in. How are you, I mean, only recently a report came out that 80 to 95% of Nigeria's crude oil is actually stolen. And that's a lot of dollar money.
Okay.
That Nigeria loses on a regular. So how are you sourcing this crude oil?
Now, the way we source that crude oil at that point in time and now is two different ball games. Now, even at that point in time that I was in the business also, there were bigger persons who don't refine the crude. They sell out the crude. We scope a little and we refine. But because the number of persons that were into that business were much, so we got a lot of a refined product. But then there were still bigger persons who were bunkering this crude, selling exactly the crude outside.
Oh, that goes to my point to say that this is bigger than the boys we see scooping with their buckets in that video there. But you have an understanding of this, and you left this business. You refer to yourself as repentant oil refiner. That's correct.
Yeah.
Why did you stop? Why did you leave the business? And again, my colleague Ngozi had asked you as a first question, when you saw what happened to this, at least 110 people on Friday, what came to your mind?
Yeah.
When I heard that story, I said it was pathetic. And when I saw it on my WhatsApp page, somebody sent it to me, and I looked back to when I was in the same business, and I know very well somebody also died who was working for me.
Wow.
Though when that young man died, I didn't stop at that point in time, but seeing what was happening around me and the environment, at least I come to understand that in as much as it is lucrative and we are making money, but it was like we are kind of shooting our own legs. Right. Because be it as it may, the environment belongs to us. And we will still live in the environment. If we bastardize this environment to that level, what will our unborn children going to say? What have we done?
Exactly. It was
So,
like cutting your nose to spite your face. In the case of Imo State, what happened in Ohaji Ebema there, I heard a top official in Imo State actually condemned security agencies for sabotage and collusion. When you were a practitioner in the illegal oil bunkering business, was there any kind of collusion with security agencies, and what's the level of collusion, if you can tell us?
At that point in time, there was no serious collusion, because when they come, they clamp down on us.
Okay.
They burn down sites. And so I cannot say there was a serious collusion at that point in time. But like as I said before, what we were doing that time and now it's a two different ball game. So I wouldn't say there is no collusion right now, but while I was in, there was not much collusion.
Do you have any message for young
very quickly, just to add to that, you know, when the president says owners and operators of illegal refineries should be held responsible and arrested, from your experience, how easy would this be for the security agencies to do?
You know, it is until you arrest the man and the business, you have evidences to prove that, yes. But you cannot just come to a community and say, because people from this community, we are into artisanal refining, so you go there and do mass arrest. And you have to investigate properly to know exactly those who we are in the business if you want to arrest.
Okay, can it be stamped out? What do you think the solution is? Can oil bunkering really stop? Can it be stopped? Very briefly.
It is with the government. But to me, stopping it, when you look at the present economic situation of our nation, people will fend for themselves. But the means is another thing. So my own advice to the government is, unless these young men come up with a proper legal framework that can guide these things, do a proper AIA, and set up a regulatory body, not a regulatory body that will be here in Abuja, but a regulatory body that will be in the creeks to monitor the activities of these people. If properly guided, I tell you, it's going to be a real means of livelihood, and at the same time, our environment too can be protected.
Thank you very much.
And also, before I go, the UNEP report, it's not just for the Ogoni land. It's supposed to go around the entire Niger Delta, because the Niger Delta environment, even before artisanal refining, is far gone. And it's like the people in the Niger Delta are like, I can say, environmental genocide gradually, because the lifespan of the average Niger Delta man is as low as if you are 50. That makes you a lucky man.
Well, that's really sad and a very heartbreaking picture you paint, but
Yeah.
Kientei Zion would like to thank you for coming on the news tonight and sharing your experience with us. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.